Good evening, everyone. This is Krishnapriya from Foundation for Excellence, and it gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to this insightful third technical series on pair programming. We are honored to have with us a distinguished speaker who brings a wealth of experience and expertise in the field of software engineering and corporate learning. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Panneer Selvam, corporate learning expert at SAP Labs India Private Limited. Mr. Panneer Selvam is a seasoned professional with over 20 years of experience in software design, architecture, and development of cloud native applications. He is a certified Kubernetes application developer, a cloud native enthusiast, and a certified master trainer. He's passionate about empowering teams and individuals through technology and education. Currently, he leads skill based learning initiatives globally at SAP, focusing on cutting edge domains such as software engineering, DevOps, and cloud native technologies. His dedication to continuous learning and knowledge sharing has impacted professionals across SAP worldwide, making complex concepts both accessible and engaging. We are truly privileged to have him here today to share his insights and perspectives on pair programming, a practice that strengthens collaboration, quality, and agility in software development. Let's give a very warm virtual welcome to Mr. Pani Silvam. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Krishna Priya, for the warm
Most
welcome.
welcome.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Good evening. I hope all of you are doing good. Yeah. So let us have a really interactive the next around 50 minutes or so. So feel free to put in your questions. We will have enough time towards the end uh, to talk about pair programming or any other topic that you would like to ask. So let me start sharing my screen. Um, Let me know if you are able to see my screen. Can you?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, it's visible.
All right. Great. I think so. In my previous session, I don't know how many of you participated in the last session. It was about the clean code, right? It was about clean code, best practices, coding guidelines, and so on. So we looked at some of the coding conventions, the best practices when it comes to writing object-oriented programming with solid principles, and so on. So we looked at some of the agile software engineering concepts, right? Today's focus is mainly on pair programming. I'll talk about what that is. It's a very simple concept, but very powerful when it comes to software development. Before going to the pair programming, I want to give you a brief introduction about agile software engineering. We touched upon this topic in the previous session. We will still go into some of the basics and revise what we have learned so far in the previous sessions, and then set the context for pair programming. So from where this comes from, right? So we will get from that kind of understanding. Okay. Uh, have you heard about this term called Scrum? So the Scrum is a terminology that is very popular with the Agile world. So we today the software engineering is happening in very fast paced, right? In this kind of evolving environment, the Agile methodology is the very much the norm of software development. If you look back several years ago, software development used to happen in a so-called waterfall model. Yeah. So you might have heard about what is waterfall model. So it goes into a development cycle, a software development cycle that starts from planning, preparation, and then design, architecture, development, and then testing, quality, deployment, and operations, and then yeah, end users, customers use your software. So that is a typical water flow model. It takes a long time for development. Yeah, so the development it will be taking around 6 months or 1 year time. They complete their work and deploy and release to customers for consumption. So this is really a long period of time, and with this the problem is you will not get the end user feedback immediately, right? So you will develop today and that will reach the customer 1 year later. So think about it, what could change in this 1 year? So whatever you are developing now, is it still relevant in after 1 year time? So this, right, especially now it's a very fast changing world, right, with respect to software engineering. So here, it's very much important to follow the agile methodology, and here the practice of Scrum is what in software companies we follow in our team. So we have a team of 10 people. So we have developers, and there is a product owner who will bring the requirements from the customers, and that he will put inside a product backlog. Then the team will work on this backlog and work for a period of 2 weeks or 4 weeks. That is called sprint, right? The sprint run is a short period of running, not like a marathon running. So the scrum is like a short sprint, right? So we have a 2 4 weeks sprint, and we develop something, and we increase the features. A product increment is what we offer to customers, and every 2 to 4 weeks of time, and they will immediately consume and start using your product really quickly. Yeah. So in order to develop something in a short period of time, 2 to 4 weeks of time, so you have to have a robust development process, and you have to ensure that the quality is always at a very high level. You can't have a product which is not working, which is not functioning properly at the customer side. Imagine you are using a product, and how would you feel if the quality is really bad, and the usability is not good, and the security is not at all there. So if you have this kind of quality issues, how do you feel using this product, right? But on the other hand, we are also delivering something very quickly. So in this scenario, you might make mistakes. Yeah. So because you are developing so fast, and then you want to release something to customers every 2 weeks, then you might make mistakes. And so how do we prevent ourselves from delivering something with a bad quality, right? So that is exactly the fundamental reason behind why we should go for agile software engineering. So in this kind of scrum world, every 2 to 4 weeks you develop something, customer get it, and how do we ensure the quality of our product? And that is when the agile software engineering come into picture, because the pure scrum process that you see on the left side, so that is how the typical agile methodology works, with the sprint planning, sprint review, retrospective. So all of these terminologies are from the scrum world. So you do a planning meeting, review meeting, and all these process wise, it is very solid, right? So the process says everything that you need to follow. But on the other hand, do we have a set of process or guidelines to say how the software should be developed? And that is where the concept of agile software engineering come into picture. In the previous session, I talked about software craftsmanship, right? So that means you whatever you develop, you have to make it with the utmost perfection and with the professionalism. So that is software craftsmanship, and that is what is also called as agile software engineering. And if you look at the list here, so starting with the test-driven development, clean code. So we spent a lot of time about talking about clean code, right? And we discussed about also with the example of Java source code, we looked at solid SOLID, the solid principles and the naming conventions. Uh, yeah, a lot of things we talked about in clean code. Yeah. So you might remember some of the concept we talked about. DRY, do not repeat yourself. Keep it simple, stupid, and a single responsibility. A lot of guidelines on those lines. They are all aiming to get a higher quality software. Yeah, so that is clean code. And refactoring is also a continuous way of improving your software. And in this list, you also find a pair programming. Okay, so what is that pair programming? We will see that in detail. So pair programming is one of the agile software engineering techniques. So when you get into software development, and if you are following agile software engineering, then you must be knowing all this. Yeah. So pair programming. And then also the list goes on and on and on. So with a lot of things, this is also evolving. So a lot of new concepts being introduced into agile software engineering, like continuous integration, continuous deployment, collective ownership. And with respect to testing, we have acceptance test, exploratory tests. So a lot of lot of such things are being offered as part of agile software engineering. And here we let us today focus on the pair programming. How do we do that in reality, in the real world when it comes to software development? So the name suggests that it's a pair programming. So when you are doing programming, so you are doing alone, so you are doing programming. But when you join forces with someone, so you create a pair, right? So you might be during your studies, you might be doing project work where you are not doing it alone, right? So you are doing it with a team, maybe more than one person with you in the team, or just pairing with one person and doing the project work. And what do you do when you team with someone? When you team with someone, you discuss, right? You brainstorm ideas, right? You talk about things, you look at the problems, and you try to find a solution. And one person could bring in some ideas, and then the other person could also refine the ideas. Or if the ideas are totally going in the wrong direction, then the other person can give you some suggestions. So and course correct the discussions. So all these are possible when you team up with someone, right? The same concepts, you do that for programming as well. So instead of you doing it alone, you do the programming along with someone else. And how do we, in practice, how do we do that? So I'll just go into I'll go into the pair programming shortly. Before that, I'll complete this presentation here. So we looked at the agile software engineering. Also, it has the agile part. Agile software engineering includes the agile concepts as well, and then software engineering. So the agile manifesto. So it is taken from the agilemanifesto.org, and this says that the box in the middle says individuals and interactions over processes and tools, working software over comprehensive documentation, customer collaboration over contract negotiation, responding to change over following a plan. So that is the definition of agile. So what agile means? Probably the last one is the one that we do mainly in agile, because we are doing the development for 2 to 4 weeks of time. You can really respond to a change request. So if you work on a 1 year plan, so that is the right side one, following a plan. So have a 1 year plan, 6 year plan, so you work on it, and you can change probably only after the end of 6 months or 1 year, right? Then all the efforts that you have put inside in this 6 months to 1 year period, so sometimes you have to rework on some of the task. So responding to change is primarily the key point here. So the agility says that you have to respond to change. The other things like customer collaboration, working software, individuals and interactions, so that is all in the same process. Okay, so that is about Agile Manifesto, and in fact, the report from 2020 Standish Group says that Agile projects are more successful than waterfall. But however, waterfall also is successful in certain scenarios where the changes are very limited. So we are not uh, allowing for any changes. This is very restrictive environment. The changes are not allowed. Should be completed within this time period for a certain project. So then waterfall could still be successful one, but in general, the agile projects are more successful. So when agile projects are more successful, we embrace the agile software engineering in our software development, right? So that's the list of agile software engineering principles that I showed you before. Today we will mainly look at the pair programming, and we'll get the basic idea behind what that is. Yeah. Okay, so let us start pair programming. So let's see if I have, before I look into pair programming, if there are any specific questions. I see a lot of questions. Some of them are, yeah, answered. Yeah. So some of them are open. Uh, so I think some of the questions will be answered uh, in this presentation. Let's go through the presentation, and then if there are still questions, we'll come back to it at the end. Okay. So what is the standard setup in pair programming? Okay. So typically, a pair programming would consist of two developers sharing one monitor. Okay? Two developers, one monitor. There are two roles in this. One is driver, another one is navigator. Okay, what does driver do? The driver owns the keyboard. Yeah, so you have one monitor, then obviously one keyboard, and the driver owns the keyboard. And the navigator simply owns the coffee cup. Yeah, so enjoy sipping the coffee. Um, is that okay for a long period of time? The one person is always coding, coding, coding. The other person eating snacks and sipping coffee and doing nothing. Yeah, is that really a good role to have? But then why do we have this role navigator? And most importantly, the last point, switch roles frequently every 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, so the driver takes the navigator seat and navigator becomes the driver. So the responsibilities are divided equally in pair programming. Okay, so you have to follow this properly so that this driver navigator role should be switched frequently. And what driver will be doing? Driver will be coding, since the driver has the keyboard, and the navigator will be there to discuss ideas and look at the code what the driver is writing and correct the code if it is going on the wrong direction, or give ideas, better ideas, right, for better coding, improved coding. And if you see the quality is not good, then the navigator could immediately help the driver to write the code in proper way. So basically, the driver and navigator collaboratively developing the software. But of course, in the standard setup, one person only writing the code. Important is to also switch the role frequently. Okay, this is standard setup. However, there is also an advanced setup available where both of them are drivers at the same time. So two developers, two software developers, both of them are uh, having the keyboard, having the monitor. So that is called advanced setup. So simultaneously, driver and navigator. Imagine you have two people working simultaneously. They are looking at their individual monitors, but they are looking at the same thing. They are looking at the same piece of code. And then they are writing the code simultaneously, right? So one person is editing the code at the top, another person editing the code at the bottom. So in one single Java class, both of them are editing. So both of them are looking at what the other person is writing, right? And also they're writing their own code. Imagine this kind of setup. Here, you're simultaneously reviewing the other person's code and writing your code. So the speed in which you develop software is really, really high. Right? So this is advanced setup, but this is not for everyone. So when you start the pair programming concept, when you want to practice it, it is recommended to start with the standard setup. So take it slow. You start with the driver navigator role, and once you gain experience, right, both driver and navigator get the experience, then go for advanced setup. So these are the two setups possible with pair programming. We will come to the benefits, and obviously every approach has pros and cons. Right? What are the pros and cons you can think of? Maybe you can also comment in this setup. What could be the benefits, or what could be the advantages and disadvantages of this? I guess your uh, you can comment in questions, or if you have questions, you can post it. Yeah. So let us have a look. Let me give you my view on the benefits of this model. And if you ask me whether it is only for two people or more than two people can also work in pair program. Since the pair suggests that it's only two, you can also have more than two people working together. And if you have many people, that's called mob programming. So that is also it's a concept from extreme programming. Yeah, it's called extreme programming. So this takes the programming to a next level um, where a group of people coming together and coding together, right? So that's called a mob programming, and these are all part of extreme programming concepts. Okay, by doing that, you are doing things faster. At the same time, you are doing it with high quality. So you are doing team collaboration. So there is a collaboration here, and the ideas are discussed, brainstormed, and then you get the better results. So that is the overall. So what is pair programming, and what is the default setup, and what is the advanced setup, and a little bit glimpse into what is mob programming and extreme programming. So this is the standard setup. Now, I will touch upon uh, the benefits and pros and cons that you should keep in mind when you practice this. So you can also practice this in your studies when you do some projects. Try to practice this also. It really helps wherever possible. Try to pair up with someone and do it. But while you do this pairing, I will tell you some guidelines what you should keep in mind. All right, so that will, otherwise pair programming could also fail. Yeah, so it's not that always this will be successful. That is the cons side of it. I'll come to it. So in how do you make sure that pair programming is not failing? So I'll also touch upon that so that it is useful for you when you practice it. The first thing, the benefit is, we would say it is definitely fun. It is definitely fun interacting with people that you like, the person you like, and you can team with that person and talk about many things and code together. So it is definitely a fun activity. It has to be a fun activity. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense to do together. Yeah. Second thing is reinforces common team policies. What does that mean? Common team policies meaning, so you could have some conventions, right? You could have, okay, this is how coding has to be done. So that is the common team policies. And by doing together, you can't make a mistake. And when you make a mistake, the other person will tell, hey, what you're doing is against our policy. So now go and check, correct that. So when you are alone, you might think, okay, this is fine, leave this, it's okay, I will make this exception. You'll just take it lightly, right? So you may not take it seriously. But then when you do it together, so the other person will reinforce common team policies. And it also gives you mutual understanding. The trust and respect increases when you follow this pattern programming. Okay. So this is on the benefit side. There are more benefits. Now coming to the technical side of things, right? So you have a better design when you discuss the architecture of your software. So you discuss and you come up with a better design than if you do it alone independently. So you come up with a better design, and you also write less code, but you try to achieve the same functionality, right? So why do you see less code? Because by doing pair programming, the code will be optimal. The code will be more efficient because your two people are putting their ideas, putting their brain into the coding. So you end up writing less code. uh, Otherwise you would be writing a lot of unnecessary code, because lack of awareness, lack of knowledge. So you might be writing more code. So with the pair programming, then these issues are resolved. So you get less code, which will result in fewer bugs. Continuous knowledge and skill transfer. So you can also exchange your knowledge with someone else. So the knowledge exchange, skills transfers are happening simultaneously. And the track factor increases significantly. Track factor meaning how many people know a particular topic. Yeah. If let's say if 10 people know Java, the track factor is 10. If the factor is 100, then 100 people know the language. The more people know about it, it is good for good for the overall team development. Yeah. So the track factor has to be significantly higher. It has to be more. So this through pair programming, you are increasing the knowledge base. So you pair with someone and you give your knowledge to that person, and that person will spread that knowledge to someone else when they pair with another person. So this pairing partners can also change. It's not that one person pair with always with another person. So with one other person. So you can also rotate your pairing partner and develop programming together, right? So this way track factor increases significantly, and everybody feels responsible. Meaning, not one person is associated with a particular topic. So everybody feels responsible because they are also involved in the development activities. So everybody feels responsible. So these are all some of the benefits that you get when you practice pair programming. Now, what could be the downsides? Yeah, some of you asked, so what are the cons of this pair programming approach? Um, so think about it. What could be the cons? Now, I have told about all the benefits of pair programming. What could be the cons? I think there were some question about that as well. Okay, so here the downside is there is no downside, I would say almost, and we might perceive some of the points as really downside. Like you think, okay, when two people are working on the same thing, is it double the effort instead of one person working? So if two people are spending 1 hour time, so the total time is 2 hours. Instead of one person spending 1 hour to do something, two people are spending the same 1 hour time. So which is total time is 2 hours. So is this 100% additional cost? So think about that. Is it 100% extra, double the effort? But we would say, though you might at first you might think that it is double the effort, but it is not. It is probably the additional cost is 15% approximately. So that is the study from the link here. So you can look for this search of code quality or cost and benefits of pair programming in do search. So here this papers are saying that the roughly approximately it's a 15% additional cost. It is not twice as much. Why it is 15% additional cost? Because you discuss ideas, so you come up with some agreements before you do the development. So you have some initial discussion timing needed, but then that 15% additional cost gives a lot more benefits. So the benefits definitely outweigh the costs. And what kind of benefits you get is you get higher quality software. So now if you think about the agile software development, where you are supposed to develop software frequently every 2 weeks, and when something is released to customer, it is always at higher quality if you follow the pair programming approach. At least better quality than if you develop alone. Okay, so that is you will get higher quality. And then there is one last point about the skills, work style, and personality varies. Okay, so when it comes to the pairing partners, the skill level of these two people, right? So you take a one developer who is very good at Java, and take another developer who is good at, let's say, JavaScript, a different language, right? So then the skill levels are completely different, and also the experience level also completely different. How would this partnership work? So the skill, very skill level and work style. And some people like to work in the mornings, or some people likes to work in the evening or late night, so early morning. So all different types of work style, and the individual personality also varies. So all of these could also play a role when it comes to successful pairing, pair programming. So you have to consider all of these and try to come with a better pairing when you do the development. And then coming to the rules. So this is important if you want to make it successful, right? Understand and accept that you will make errors. So that is rule number one. So it's not that you will not make any errors while coding. So it is common. Yeah, it is common in the software engineering world that you make a mistake while coding, and you get an issue when from the application. So it is very common. Yeah, you understand and accept that you might make errors, and you can get the suggestion from the others, and you can correct and you can improve yourself. So that is the idea. So this is taken from the psychology of computer programming. And criticize the code but not the people. So don't tend to argue with the other person and criticize that person when something goes wrong, or there is an error, there is a mistake. Don't criticize the person, but the code. Remember, you are not your code. So take out the personality aspect of it, of the individual, the personal part of it, but then the coding part, remember, only look at that and criticize that, review that, but not the individual, the developer. Be hard to the code, but and nice to your colleague. Yeah? So you can critically look at your code, look at the other person's code when you are the navigator role. So we talked about driver and navigator. So when you are taking the navigator role, so you should be very hard at the code, and you should be really very critical about it, and you can criticize it and for better quality, right? But you should be gentle and nice to the colleague who is writing that code, and that person will learn from you. So if you are having a better ideas, and you can always give ideas and teach the other person. So be nice to your colleague and fight for what you believe, but gracefully accept the defeat. So this means, so when you get into an argument with your pairing partner, so you might be thinking what you are saying is correct. So fight for what you believe. You can argue but for that, but at some point in time, if the argument has to end, and you have to proceed further with your coding and go to the next step and so on. So here you need to make compromises and gracefully accept defeat, meaning, okay, I take your idea. So yes, it sounds better than my idea, so you can accept gracefully. So fight for what you believe, in case your idea is still better, so you can fight for it. But then after some time, you need to come to a consensus, or maybe take a third party opinion. If both of you are not able to come to a conclusion what has to be done in this case, then get in another person opinion and what that person thinks about this decision. Yeah, so these are some things you should practice. So don't go for an endless argument between two people. So this is the psychology of computer programming. So this applies for in general for programming, not only for pair programming, but it is very much needed when you two people are doing, because this is psychological thing, right? The human mind, psychological aspects. So that has to follow these rules if you want this to make this successful, right? And this pair programming can be done at any kind of tasks. So it is only for non-development. It is not only for development activities. It can also be applicable for non-development activities. For example, when you are planning something or designing something, research, exploring, documentation, testing. So any activities, not only programming, any activities can involve a pair. Okay, you can benefit from all the discussions you could have in this. Right, so this is the next couple of slides. I want to talk about good practices, and then we can take questions. So good practices. I talked about the advantages, the benefits, and cons, the drawbacks of pair programming. Then talked about the rules that you should keep in mind. Then coming to some of the good practices. So it's also part of the rules, but I won't say it is a hard rules, but they are the other 4 points are really hard rules. So you need to really keep that in mind and really have to follow. And this one is the best practices. And if you don't follow, there is no harm. But if you follow, the results are going to be better. So that is why it is called good practices. And the first point is, there is not the right way. So there is always a better solution for each and everything. So this, you cannot say this is the best solution for any problem. So you can have a better solution. So you should accept if there is really a better solution. So there is there is not the right way. And find out what works for the team. So meaning, so you can have your own custom rules. So what works for the team? Okay, so should we do it this way or that way? So what works within the team. So that has to be discussed within the team openly, and come up with a plan for the whole team. So find out what works for the team and take enough breaks. So in between, when you do pair programming, you can take enough breaks. So every 15 minutes, I told you 15 to 20 minutes, you change the driver navigator role. So you can take a break and then go for a coffee break or water break or a bio break, or whatever the break. So you want to take breaks and then continue your the pair programming again. So do time boxing, like 15-20 minutes. You do the time boxing and then go to the change the role. Yeah. So these are also, think about, these are the practices you need to do. And trust but verify when pairing with AI. So nowadays I need to bring this point. I don't know if someone asked this question. So pairing does not have to be only with other human being. So it can also with AI. So now you have co-pilots, chat GPTs, and you could pair with such technology partners. And but of course, you can trust the tools, but always verify whether it is giving the right results. Okay, don't just take it like you do it with any other developers, human developers. So you will be also verifying what the other person is saying. So you should also verify what AI is giving. So of course, AIs can hallucinate and give wrong results, and so don't take that as directly. So that is one of the good practices. And more good practices, when you always work, so you don't start alone as a default starting point. So always keep the pairing as the default working mode, and only split if necessary. If you ask a question, should we do always pair programming, or can we do sometimes alone? Yeah, I don't know if that there is a question like that. So you can split up the work, right, if necessary. If there is a very generally, pair programming works better for complex problems. When you have complex problems, complex architecture, you have pair programming as default mode. And when you have simple things, you can split, and both of them can do individually and then come back, share the results, and continue your work. So you can start with the pair, divide the work, do it separately, and come back and share the results. So this way, you can be a little bit more efficient and try to optimize things. Yeah, you don't have to do everything pairing, but whenever you do pairing, if you have a decisions, document that decisions. Yeah, okay, so we have discussed this and we have made a decision. You have to document that. That is a good practice. Then last point is about anchored person for continuity for topics. So though there are two developers are working on this particular task, but always try to have one person as the anchor person, and tomorrow you change the learning, your pairing partner, so you have one more developer joining you. So one person can be an anchor, another person can change, so that the knowledge of this topic, uh, the track factor increases significantly. So knowledge spread across developers, all the developers, right? So that is these are some of the good practices when you do programming. All right. So basically, that is all about pair programming. And if you have any questions, we can take in the next 10-15 minutes. We can take questions, and let me also read through the questions and try to answer some of them. Um, I'll first try to answer the question related to
All right,
software
yeah, it's
engineering.
it's fine. Yeah. Do you want me to read out the questions for you?
Yeah, you can also if
Okay,
you.
all right, yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. So yeah, we have a first question from Fazil. He's asking like, I'm doing ML with this session. Will it be beneficial for me?
Hmm. Yeah. So this is applicable to everyone, right? This is applicable regardless of what is your background and what activities you are doing, what course you are doing. So this is applicable to everyone. So like I said in one of the slides here, non-development activities. So it also benefit from pairing. So the concept of pairing and the best practices applicable to any stream, any courses. Yeah, whatever art activities that you're doing, try to have discuss things with someone else. So you will gain from their experience, knowledge.
Okay, then we can move to the next one. Does any courses provide in various domains such as full stack web development and AIML, along with valuable completion certificates that can enhance our resume? So, Mr.
Mm.
Pani, like if you have any suggestions for our scholars to do any particular courses for the certification and all going forward.
Uh, yeah, so nowadays, I think since you mentioned about full stack development and AI/ML, I don't know if you have access to any of the learning platforms. There are plenty of online learning platforms are there. If you have access to any of them, of course, you can take any online courses about full stack development. Full stack development in Java is definitely the top one, I would say, because in enterprise application world, so we develop a lot of application web development, especially. So we do it in Java and JavaScript. So these are the two top programming languages. And Python, if you consider AI/ML is your mainstream, go for Python based programming language. So any online, I don't want to name any specific one. So there are plenty of online learning platforms. So you can take any of these courses, certifications additionally.
All right. Okay. So we can move to the next one. Among all the models in software engineering, which model is the most used one and is the best?
I don't know among all the models in software engineering, which model is the best used one. And I don't know what you mean by models here, but software engineering, the agile software engineering is what I would say compared to waterfall model. In agile, we follow Scrum models. So these are definitely the proven one to be successful.
All right. So, so Rishi has a question. So, why Scrum is less flexible than Agile, even though it has short sprints of development?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. It's a good question. Good question. But I would like to correct here. The Scrum is part of Agile, so it's not something separate. Yeah, it doesn't stand out separately. So you have waterfall on the one hand, and you have the Agile on the other hand, and how you implement Agile. That Scrum is part of implementation, part of the Agile concepts. Yeah, like Scrum, you have many other implementation concepts like Kanban is one more. So you can there are many other implementation techniques, but Agile and Scrum you cannot differentiate. So they are all flexible and they are all Agile world only.
All right. Okay. Then we have a question from Megharaj. What is the difference between normal and Agile software development?
Yeah, the normal development is like the waterfall development model. So we take really a long time for planning, preparation, development. Like I said, about 6 months, 1 year. So that is the normal software development. But now Agile says that you have to deliver something in 2 weeks and 4 weeks, kind of short development cycle, and that's the key difference. And you then there are a lot of other things like the ability to change. In the normal software development, you don't have a kind of flexibility to change, but the Agile software development has that. And in Agile, you follow certain software engineering best practices, which normal development doesn't say anything about it. You can do any kind of freestyle development. Yeah. So all these guidelines, best practices are part of your Agile software development.
Okay. And we have a question from Megha Anjana. Out of all software engineering models, which one is the most used and provides the best result?
I think we covered this. We just now talked about the
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so Anjana, we hope it is covered.
Yeah.
So one question from Arpita: how do we handle conflicts or disagreements during pair programming
Yeah,
sessions?
very good. So good question. So the conflicts, it comes. So many times we have seen this kind of conflicts. So the best thing is the one of the thing that you gracefully accept. So it's not bad. It's not at all at a loss or anything um, if you accept someone else's idea. So if you have conflict, try to resolve between the partners, or if still you need some opinion. So the best thing is to have involve someone else in the team, get their opinion. So that is always the that's what happens in real life also when you get into conflict. So you have someone to mediate and resolve the problems, right? So that is what you follow in the pair program.
Yeah, so the next question, which is the pair programming software?
Yeah, so fair programming software, if you are interested, look for tools like Work Together, Code Together. There are these kind of tools are available. The Visual Studio Code, VS Code has uh, uh, Code Together and things like that. So these kind of tools you can use.
Okay, so uh, one scholar has asked to summarize about Scrum at the end of the session. We can take up it in the end.
Mm. Mm.
How are these pair programming system implemented and weighted in great MNC companies?
Yeah, we follow like ours is an MNC company, and we follow. It's not only. I think it's a good question now asked because it is a global company, so it's not only about physically sitting next to each other, right? So you can be here, another person can be in the US or in Europe, so you can have pair programming still through virtually. Now, virtual platforms have come with the Microsoft Teams or Zoom, so you could have virtual pair programming. So it's definitely possible to implement it. It's used completely in the companies. Yeah.
All right, yeah. So Mr. Pani, do you want me to take up the other questions? We can still
Yeah,
continue
we
with it,
can
or
another 5 minutes we can take
okay,
questions. Yeah.
sure, sure. Okay. How can we reach faster regarding the coding knowledge to match the level of a person whom with you want to implement pair programming?
Very good question. Yeah. So you have to first of all before pairing, so some kind of preparation is needed. Whether okay, do we fit with each other? Is it a natural pairing or the work style, personality? You kind of assess yourself and come to a partnership after doing that. And if you still want to pair up, but the skills are mismatching, then the other person who has the higher skills will have to mentor the other person. So over a period of time, you will eventually reach the other level. But the personality, if everything else matches, only the skill is not matching, it's not a problem. So you need to have the mentor-mentee kind of relationship and grow your skills and try to match it with the other person. Yeah. So that's what I would say.
All right, yeah. So then we have a question like, out of all software engineering model, which one is the best used? I think it's a repeated
It's a
question.
repeat. Yeah.
Yeah. Which platform is best for DSA for placement drive?
Mm,
Mm,
I I
maybe
think
we can.
yeah,
Yeah.
these data structure algorithm. It's a no, yeah. I have not so much insights into that, but yeah.
All right. Okay. Uh, So yeah, we have answered this one. Like, can we use this method for AI agents to work together?
Yeah, yeah. We can use this. Yes, like I said, the AI agents to work together. Yes. So you can also give feedback to AI. So now AI also accepts your feedback. So like a human being. So you say that no, what you said told me is incorrect. So this is then the AI will accept it. So AI will think and accept it. So you with the AI agent also you can apply all the now the AI agents are also becoming intelligent and then they can behave like a normal human being. So absolutely you can work by following these rules and best practices with the agents. Yeah,
All
very
right.
good question. Mhm.
So there's a question from Minnie that will you be teaching the language in this series and what will be the output of this series? Okay, so it's an
Mm.
overall question. For that, Minnie,
Mm.
we really want you to attend all the webinars. We are sure it will be really insightful and helpful for you.
Yeah, we
So
will teach. I think there is one session I know. I'm going to teach about
yeah,
Java basics a little bit.
okay.
Yeah.
So I hope it answers your question. How to integrate AI in our any project? I mean, is there any packages, sources we can directly integrate to our projects and all?
Yeah, it depends on your use case, what AI features you want to go for it. So there are a lot of AI development kits are available. So SAP also has our own internal toolkit for AI development. So it depends on the use cases, the platform of your choice, Microsoft Azure, AWS. So they all of them have their own AI library toolkits. So you can use them and develop your AI scenarios. Yeah.
So Pani, can we continue with the questions or?
Maybe one or two more questions and then we can
All right,
summarize.
okay,
Yeah.
fine. Is pair programming used in the real world for developing projects by companies?
Yeah, I think
Maybe the
I
practical
mentioned.
side.
Yeah,
You
mentioned this.
mentioned it.
Yeah, company MNC companies. Yeah, they are using pair programming. Yeah.
I have an interest in blockchain technology. Can you please tell me from where I can learn it?
Like I said, I'm sure you know the different learning platforms. There is not about only one platform is better than other. So you have to explore multiple platforms and see best courses from these platforms. So go with your own exploration. So I don't have any clear recommendation for a particular platform. Yeah. But I can tell the platforms like Udemy, Coursera, LinkedIn Learning, Pluralsight. So there are a lot of learning platforms, the free ones like YouTube, for example. So there are plenty of learning platforms. So based on whether you want to go for a paid one or unpaid one, free. There are a lot of courses available freely as well. SAP also has a student edition of our learning site. So you can go freely and look at our courses. So yeah, explore all the different platforms and look for better courses.
All right. Then we have a question that for a beginner in programming, which language we must be doing
Hmm.
first?
Hmm. So I think a good question. So for if you're interested to be a programmer, so try to start with C language. Yeah, I don't know how many of you heard about C, C++, or if you're learning. So start with that language. Understand how it is implemented, the basic programming constructs, and how it deals with the memory. In your operating system. So that low level understanding is very, very important to learn anything at the very higher level. So try to learn the C, C++, or Java. So this kind of the basic common purpose language, and then you can go. You can learn as many languages as you want from there. Yeah.
There is a question regarding AI and ML. Is it good to build a career in this for
For
future?
sure. Yeah, yeah. It's currently it is the hot topic in the market. So for sure, you will have good future, at least in the near future. Once it is, I hope it's not overhyped, but currently the trend is looking positive for this area.
All right. Yeah. So, shall I continue with the questions or?
I have to stop in 3 minutes. So
All right.
if you want
Okay,
to
fine.
summarize, yeah.
Okay. So, where is DSA actually used in industry, or is it only to test our knowledge and interviews?
No, 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 no. So that's something that you should be knowing. Whatever you learn in the studies, right, colleges, right. So they are very much relevant in the professional setting. So you might think why we are studying this, is it really needed or not? So the concepts about DSA, I think data structure algorithms. So that is the fundamental for programming. Yeah. So when you have a problem and you want to solve that problem by writing programs, so the behind the code, you need to have a good algorithm. You need to use the right data structures. Then if you are very strong at these two things, then the programming that you will develop is will be also definitely a good one. Yeah. So without having that knowledge, you try to write code and 100% sure that the outcome is not going to be a good one. So DSA is definitely important. Operating system concepts, database concepts, networking concepts. If you are studying all this, that's very much important. So this is the time to learn all the theories, and then you apply them in projects in a smaller development work. So you apply it, get hands-on experience by doing your projects, right? So that's absolutely relevant. That's why you are studying. Nothing is really a waste here. So.
I hope that answers your question. So, we have a question from Ganesh, that is Java or JS best for the web development?
They both are good. So Java, JavaScript, both are good. So whichever programming language you choose, absolutely good. So industries are using both very much heavily. So you can go with anything. So take one, whichever you prefer. Yeah.
All right. So, we have one more question related to DSA. What are the topics that are needed to know, and where to start and finish, how to finish the flow of learning?
I'm sure you have a subject on DSA and that talks about the structure, the data structure, the list, linked list. I don't know if you learn that kind of things in data structures, the memory arrangement, memory how it is arranged, and then the algorithms like the sorting algorithm, search algorithm. So that these are some of the things that you learn and to understand these concepts. I think that should be at the beginner level. So you should be linked list, the array list, vectors, sets, hash maps. So these are some of the structures you should be knowing, and how you apply algorithms on these data structures. Um, you should start with these basic fundamentals. Yeah.
And we have a question from Sivarama. Sir, I'm doing web development, but when I want to start doing the projects and I am unable to design the scheme for that website, which is given by a real project. So I think he requires some guidance from your side.
I don't know exactly what is the development here, the use case, and yeah. So you need to think from the use case. So what is really the problem that you're trying to solve with this development, and what are the data models? So when you say schema, I understand it's going to be your database related, or I don't know what you mean by I am unable to design the schema. But yeah, so if I understand it, if it is the database schemas, then you need to design your data model, right? So okay, what are the tables that you need to have for your application, and from there you should evolve, right? So that is how you should approach a project in especially the web application. There is a backend database. So you need to come up with your table design, so the schema design and the data structures for your application. So then the UI part, web development part comes later. So yeah, try that and have some mentors and discuss this. Pair programming is the right thing that you should do when it comes to any of your development work. Yeah.
And we have a question from Pavitra. I want to learn cybersecurity course. Can you please provide me the prerequisites knowledge for that and the best
Programming, yeah,
sources?
programming. So learn the programming, and because your programming, your application should be secured, right? So learn the fundamentals of programming, and then learn how to write a secure code. So that is a different stream. So then once you know the fundamentals thoroughly very strongly, then you go for cybersecurity. Yeah.
And what are the other setups in pair programming?
Yeah, I think we talked about the basic, advanced, and the one other is the virtual setup, right? I talked about when you are working in a global team and you can do a virtual pair programming with anyone in the world. Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope we have covered all the points and everything has been like really understood from a point of view of our scholars as well. So I'm extending my thanks to Mr. Panneer Selvam for generously like contributing two impactful sessions to FFE and guiding our scholars on their journey towards software excellence. And your insightful talk, I remember for the software craftsman as well as today's pair programming has definitely, I'm sure, laid a foundation for our scholars and has been definitely a privilege for our scholars to learn from someone with such an extensive experience. And we are especially grateful for that clear and thoughtful introduction on pair programming. And I'm sure the examples and explanations have truly deepened our grasp of its principles and practical benefits. And also a very heartfelt thanks to SAP team and the FFE family for your unwavering support, and to all our scholars for your enthusiastic participation and making the session truly interactive and meaningful. And once again, thank you all. Wishing you a wonderful evening.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good evening.